Alright guys, well here's part 2 of the video. I can do 20 more of these videos with the amount of content I have. Like I said in the first video, I'm going to see where your complaints are, where the holes that you feel like exist are with this theory and this evidence. But let me just come out and say, I'm not claiming that any of the projects I'm about to drop in the comments are a scam. Because you guys really don't even understand what a scam is at this point. You're just so low level at this stuff, and that's not me dissing you, that's just the hard facts. I mean, you think people lying and redistributing funds to other projects, all you think that matters about being a scam or not is the price and the chart. You don't understand complex scams. You don't understand moving money and lying to people on one project just to pump another one. You don't understand the integration of all of that. So that's fine with me. I'm not going to say any of these projects are a scam. This is more just me showing you the pattern of how those influencers that I name dropped in my last video, how all of those influencers have been associated with all of these projects I'm about to drop. And that's a very concerning thing when you have people heavily involved with the team, heavily involved with the supply, heavily involved with the allocation on hundreds of projects within a year. And the amount of power that yields and what they can do with all that supply and all of those money and all of those projects, how concerning that is. So this first clip here is just going to be completely random. I've already showed you, Crash, Eric Stevens, Poe, Dogan, CTM, Ralph. All of these guys were involved with this Catfish launch. They're all involved with the Pang launch. And this guy here, Lost, is an on-chain analyst. And I'm going to be dropping all of his tweets at the end of this video. And basically all of his tweets were exposing the Cabal's plays, because he said, oh, here's Ponke, and here's what's wrong with that launch. Here's Spoody, here's what's wrong with that launch. Here's Roaring Kitty, here's what's... And he pointed out all of their stuff. So Eric Stevens on his alt account, Mid-Mic Crisis, Chamber Wrecked right here, that's Eric Stevens' alt account. He started doing spaces with this Lost guy. And over time, you saw Lost, who was, calling out all of their launches. All of a sudden, he got super quiet. And all of a sudden, all of the Cabal, Eric Stevens, Poe, all these guys started to support this guy on his project Lost. So here's a very interesting clip. So Catfish, which was a Cabal coin that they were heavily involved in, that dev later on went on to launch Pang, which once again the Cabal was heavily involved in. They were dumping their bags the entire time. So here's him talking about Catfish, and then like I said, Eric Stevens is here on his alt, and it's just a very odd conversation because Eric Stevens was involved in Catfish, and he pawns it off as like he doesn't know about it, blah blah blah, and then this guy goes on to say he's going to be releasing the list of influencers who got airdrops from that Catfish coin because it was a disaster, it was a scam. And let's just listen to this.
So there was a project called Catfish.
All right.
Could I stop there?
I'm surprised it wasn't called Scam, but go on.
So there was a project called Catfish. It's a huge project. I mean, they're doing pretty good. So what happened was, before burning their liquidity, so whenever you put in liquidity, you get LP tokens, right?
Right.
So you either lock it or you either burn it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before burning those tokens, what they did was they removed 50% of the liquidity from the project without informing anyone. So I did a post there, and it got viral. I mean, more than 12 or 15,000 views, and the token tanked at that point of time. And and then later on, they got partnered with Godbit, and
Very interesting. So Godbit, who I said is very involved with the Cabal, lists all their tokens, probably owned by them, lists this Catfish token, and this guy goes on to say he even warned Godbit about the fucking scam that Catfish had just done, and even after knowing that they were scamming, Godbit still listed them. So integrity for Godbit just gone right down the shitter, even though it had none in my opinion anyways.
I had a conversation with Godbit as well, where I told them about what happened, and they specifically send a message that they are thankful that you have told us about it. After that, they got uh, a partnership with Godbit. So then the developer of the dev of the Catfish reached out to me, and he gave me a document, internal document,
Mhm.
where he was basically trying to explain that the 50% liquidity that was removed, that funds are being used. It's not going into his pocket. That funds are being used for marketing and other purposes. My
Right.
point was, if even if you're using it for marketing, you have to be upfront about it. You cannot remove it, and when the information gets public, you are coming out with your information. So, anyways, so I got that document, and you won't believe, most of the Twitter influencers that you know of, that you can think of, got percentage of supply from that token. Most of them.
Interesting.
Now, I'm getting a lot of pressure to release that. I have released that document, but I have blurred out those names. So maybe in future I might unblur those names as well.
Interesting. So
Yeah, this is
So Eric Stevens would have been on that list. Somehow this guy doesn't know it's Eric Stevens talking. And I guess that's why they have alt accounts, right? I mean, why wouldn't Eric Stevens just use his public account that has all this credibility? Why wouldn't he use that to host this mid-mic crisis bullshit? Okay, so he just drops a mega bomb here. And if they stay on this topic, it could get very, very interesting and heated. And now, we'll watch Eric Stevens' co-host, this Bunchu idiot, watch him change the conversation.
fascinating. Actually, I'm super interested, lost to kind of just take one step back and talk about maybe your background and how you.
Yep. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What a misdirect. Video and watch this one. Don't be watching this video without watching that first one, because a lot of this probably won't make sense to you. But I made a lot of claims in the last video about how a lot of things are tied in together. One of those claims was the Solana Foundation, the Solana team, has been working closely with this big group of scammers, and they should have higher standards. I don't mind you supporting projects. That's a great thing that you can do. The owners of the chain get behind the projects and the teams there. That's great. But when you know specifically that these guys launch time and time and time and time and time again, and they're dirty scammers, why are you giving them any sort of attention? Why are you giving them any sort of credibility by putting the founders of Solana's name on these guys' projects when they're serial launchers? Like, the list of projects that they've either launched or been big parts of is endless, and so many of them were just garbage pump and dumps. So here's all the connections between the Solana Foundation and these guys. So here we go.
Allowed me to like really reach out to a lot.
I'm gonna increase the volume for this part. Convinced that they're gonna get a lot of help from the Solana team somehow. So here we go.
Allowed me to like really reach out to a lot of the people at the top of the Solana community, right? Some of the guys who are behind Dog with Hat and Myro and Used Car, right? And ask them, like, go to them, like, hey, can you help? Like this.
So they're with the Solana Foundation about how they have the insider.
Tweeting, getting new people all the time, connecting with all of the biggest people in Solana. This dude went from knowing me on Solana, a fucking candy on the internet, to knowing the founders and all the layers of hierarchy in the Solana shitcoin ecosystem. Like, he went from zero to hero, and he...
Sorry, that was Print My Mint, one of the biggest scammers going. I've already released some details on him, but he's been the developer of several projects, the main dev. He's also been super involved in tons of other projects, so that's just a great person for the Solana Foundation to be wanting to work with. They're just picking their guys so properly. Just well done, Solana. Well done. You guys are stars. Here we go again with Ponke now.
Better to build on from a standpoint of connections. When Ponky launched, we were able to get into rooms within, I would say, 3 days. We were in a room with Solana Mobile. We were in a room with Solana Foundation. We were in a room with Underdog Protocol. We were in a room with Jupiter. We were in a room with Hello Moon. We were in a room with all of these people. Like,
Wow, that's a Ton founder. And that kind of gets into a way better thing we can touch on later, you know, why they're doing all that, but... Alright, and here we go again with Ponke. Here's just a little bit of insight.
from a standpoint of networking, Solana is one of the best chains. We'll say some AVAX as well. You can connect with the AVAX Foundation pretty easy, but other protocols, I'm not sure how easy it is to do. But on Solana, very easy to connect. Everyone's trying to lend a.
There you go. Everyone's trying to lend a hand. I wonder if other projects could say the same for that one. Insider stuff.
Recognized by key figures from the people behind the Solana blockchain. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the end goal. Like,
and Andy on Solana, don't have to tell you guys how much of a joke that coin was. Raising money for CEXs, even though they can get listed on all of them for free. Andy on Solana now.
bro, when I tell you that the Solana freaking founders will be on this spaces, bro, you think I'm fucking kidding with you, bro? I'm not kidding.
I mean, that never happened, but it was definitely in their playbook because they know. They know how easy it is. Now we're going to get into all the Pepe ties. So you hear them name drop Pepe. You hear admins from Pepe supporting their coins. You hear Pepe Dev is pushing Pepe this, Pepe that. Wonder why. Connected to the team, it's just the original team of Pepe was kind of trash. But they're leveraging that connection and that LARP and a lot of their the plays they keep pushing out to people. So here's some Pepe lore for sure.
Pepe was such a big launch, such a successful coin. I think early on, a lot of people were thinking that the Pepe dev was behind Ponky. We strayed away from that really quick.
Yeah, I'm sure you swayed her. Alright. And now Misha and Pepe, some connection here.
Along with when I was talking about the affiliation that there could possibly be with Pepe, is one of the leaks, I guess you would say, is one of the admins posted Misha in their Telegram, in the Pepe Telegram, 45 minutes ago. So if you guys
You love to see it.
who knows how many messages at this
Already is them.
By the
Already is
percent sure.
using that Pepe.
Like,
once again, just confirming it a little bit harder. Let's see what this one is.
we can do it here, bro. Z has led Solana these last few months, and he's rallying behind us. Let's show him what we can do for him.
So that was the Ansem, the Whiff admin guy, who's also in Hobbes early, which is, you know, led by Ansem, also in Michi, and then talking about how Z from Pepe has been helping push all these as well. So just a nice little scam ring they have going here. And this website, and obviously he knows both because he knows both teams, yada yada yada.
The caliber of the website is so similar to, for example, a Ponky or a Crody, which both went on to, 50 mil, 3 mil. And, the thing is like, you
yeah,
kind of
so
get a good...
I forgot. Yeah, that wasn't Pepe, that was a bit out of turn, but that's the Catfish launch, which you heard at the beginning of the video. Obviously Crash is in there, talking about how it's similar website to Ponke and similar website to Crody because it was the same website guy on all three, same graphics guy, same team, same everything. Good job on that one, Crash. I'm sure you held your allocation though, right? I'm sure you admitted to getting allocation as well. Just a stand-up guy you are.
Whole reason why I even got into Hobbes in the first place is because last night, I'm going to share the tweet in the space. I literally asked him on my account when the coin was at I think 800k market cap. I asked Ansem himself. I just pinned it in the space. I said, that's cool and all, but what's the cat's name? I believe he had already replied and said Hobbes, but I wanted to confirm just to make sure that his name was actually.
So there you go. I mean, Corey and Ralph, who are in hosts.
His name was a fun. I
Biggie. Alright, let's see what this one's about. Still for Hobbes here.
for this. Months for Ansem to really launch a new, not really, well, because he didn't launch it, but he's responsible for
Slip up.
the volume and everything that happened because of his cat. But I feel like for Harambe, I know that took like a day or two. So once it's submitted.
Okay, well, once again, we got Ralph's alt, Eric Stevens. I got Eric. So there's just Corey from Hobbes. I know these clips are a bit scattered. It's a recording of a recording. It's not my finest work by any means. But I've tried to make this. It's been a little sloppy in between, so just bear with me. But, I mean, you saw the Pepe ties there. You saw Ansem leaking stuff to there. You saw Corey, who is in Hobbes, who's in those other coins, how he's talking about Harambe now and how long Harambe took for something. So just seeing all the ties with all the people and all the projects is basically what we're seeing here.
We also have the Pepe dev with us, fully support, so we're glad with that too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Official is in our chat. He supports us. He pops in here and there. And honestly, we have it's Casey Adams, and you have great calls. You're a very consistent one.
Yeah.
And also, you have an awesome Lambo, so that's another plus.
Appreciate that, dude. Yeah, nah, I've been fucking working up. You guys probably all remembered when, I was working with the Myro team very early on, Honk as well. And I really saw potential in this project, especially, with how the chart was looking and just the narrative in general.
So there you go. I mean, that's Ralph. I'll drop the link for that Spaces. He has me blocked, of course, on his alt, just like Belogi did. People
We're excited to be.
He was in there close enough to be interacting and figuring that project out, and it's all the same friends, all the same people, and all these same plays. That's what that was. Now this project was a nightmare, straight up pump and dump. And they're in the chat here talking about how hard the team is working. That's why I hate people throwing out, good community or hardworking dev like so easily, because it should be a hard title to earn, and they're talking about how good these devs were, and obviously it lasted 2 more days after this space, and it went completely up and completely down. I'll show the chart later. You can put 2 and 2 together.
Updates, man, that is super bullish with great tweets. Let me tell you, man, this is a great group of people. I couldn't be more excited to be here, guys. Go retweet the main tweet that was just posted 2 minutes ago. Like, retweet, and comment right fucking now, boys.
I just want to say I've been watching a lot of charts the past few days, and there's been a lot of fucking jittery going on, and a lot of fucking teams just launching and dumping at like 300-400K. But this project looks like the team put a lot of effort into it, and the chart really shows it. So
shots that
he was 12 mil.
Much hype shots themselves, and then when they do, it's just a hired act. One talking about how shitty the devs were.
If we ran this to over what 9, I think it was 12 mil all-time high with a shitty ass dev, like. He wasn't even doing like the stuff that he was posting.
So I've touched on this a few times, but you're not going to take a chance and pump something to 15 mil with all your influencers when you don't know the dev. It's just something people never do. So they know the dev, they work with the dev, they are the dev, and they've pump and dumped that coin. That's their MO. They pump and dump on launch. They take a bunch of money. They all dump their bags, and then they buy in on the bottom sometimes, and they push it round 2, and they dump on you round 2. That way they've created the dev as a fall man. And this is a strategy that Crash had perfected on all of his launches. I showed you Crash's launch on the big fight, and he was in all those spaces. There was an anonymous dev who never spoke up, and it was just muted there, and Crash and Rex spoke on behalf of the community. And that's what Ralph and this Corey guy have done on all their other launches. And then once that got too obvious, and I started calling out Ralph, they started doing a new thing where they hired voice actors to be the devs now. And it was the same thing though. The voice actors knew nothing. There were new people every time. Eventually you started to see them on their other projects. And then all these community, quote unquote community members like Ralph and them, they were just there on behalf of the community. Even though they knew all about the devs' plans, they could answer for the dev, they were the guys to DM. It's their project every time. They have fake front men. You have to wake up to this shit. How crazy and stupid and obvious he is.
Sitting on the sidelines right now, and you're not fucking aping in a bag. dude, get the fuck out of my face because we're only winners. This is a community of winners.
So they literally try to form this huge community just with these little fucking pep talks. And they literally put no effort into any of these plays themselves. And they try to make the communities grind for them. So much so that they'll be able to abandon the project, go run around and do others. So like their trenches, when they describe the trenches that they're in, it's not in the Telegram and fighting through the dips and whatever. It's literally setting up and launching new coins all fucking day long so they can take the money, pay their bosses, set up bigger scams on a higher level, and keep their main projects alive, which is the only reason they have a little bit of credibility. So they have to keep funneling their money into that, or else it'll all be so obvious to people. And here's once again.
Great building here.
Listen, man, guys, I haven't been this fucking excited about a launch. Like, man, I know I kind of say this with a lot of launches, but this one especially, bro.
There we go. I mean, I know I kind of say that with a lot of launches. It's like, yeah. And then here we're going to get into a very interesting little alpha they dropped us about how they have a vault. So they have a lot more supply on all these tokens than they let you know. And here's they have a vault on each of those that holders will get for these other tokens here. And this MSTR on Solana was a total flop. That'll come up in the charts later as well. So, that's kind of what they've done here, though. They've kind of explained their plan and how they did on Ethereum and how they're planning to do it on Solana. And it's pretty concerning stuff, really.
I'm sure you're familiar with Myro. I'm sure that you're familiar with a lot of bullish projects such as Harambe, which did a magnificent thing. And what I'm speculating here, guys, is that are we going to be having a double form of a vault, if you will? Guys, by no means. And here's the thing, and I'll tell you something so that way you guys understand why I'm bullish on MSTR, and it's going to be important that you hear what I'm trying to tell you. See, MSTR is not your regular type of project. Absolutely not. With MSTR, what it is, the unique factor behind it is that once you hold MSTR, you actually get to benefit on other tokens in their vault. You hear what I'm trying to tell you? That's bullish. That's bullish, guys. And there's plenty of projects in the vault, and I'm almost assuming that there's going to be a lot more. So similar to MicroStrategy, okay?
And Twitter said a lot. They want. All right, now we're gonna look at some interesting tweets here, guys. So, Catfish versus Ponke, like day one after Crash says the websites are similar, reminds them, oh, there they are fighting. I wonder why. Maybe a lot of the same people. Cat with Bag, they were heavily involved in this. Achi, heavily involved in this. And this is the Instagram account I tagged in the last post with all the sketch people. This Instagram account, in charge of WIF, they had the post for the WIF coin that I was inspired on. They've been dirty ever since. That's why they've been able to take advantage with all these different cat and WIF knockoffs because they can control what gets posted on that Instagram. It's led to a lot of bullshit, a lot of drama. This is the WIF admin who was also in Hobbes early because of Ansem, and here he is hard shilling Mitchie. It's like he knew that was the bottom of Mitchie because he knew Ansem was coming. Here's Ansem supporting Chonky really hard. I mean, they were able to tell he was going to do this a lot earlier than he did, feeding them inside info. Here's Roaring Kitty talking about how it was created by the crypto Twitter Cabal and is now being run by the community. So the story of the Cabal was, we supported this kitty coin. It was a rogue dev. He rugged people, and we had no power over that. So why are you taking chances on random devs when you have a lot of influence? You're not supposed to take chances on random devs because you could pump it up from 100K to 20 million on day one if you get all of your people involved. So why are you going to do that with a dev who you haven't vetted yet? And the answer is, it's bullshit. They know better than that. They were the devs. They farmed the fuck out of people. And if the community stuck around and showed life, they would have used those fucking profits that they just dumped on to push the project a little bit harder. But still, I mean, they do this over and over again. They pump at launch. They dump on you. They get the dev is the new fall guy. That's the only one people care about. And then as it pumps up, they'll say, oh, the dev kept selling on us, it's so tough, and they just continue to farm you over and over again. And then if they're able to reverse it one day, or the community's very strong, then you know, it gets looked at as a successful project. They continue to push it, and they look like the good guys. When really, you know, I'll be name dropping the projects down below, and just like the last time, I followed the same formula here. So this first list is ones that they're very, very heavily involved in. All of them were there right at the first day of launch. They're in the spaces. They're all promoting it. The second one, they're still heavily involved in a lot of these. And the third one, like something like Roost, yes, the Cabal was heavily involved in it, but they weren't like the main drivers of it, in my opinion. Even though you had people like Base Chain supporting Roost, supporting Backwards Solana. I don't even know if I have Backwards Solana in here, but that's a good one. So you had still, So guys, I mean, there you have it. Like I said at the start of the video, I'm not necessarily saying every single project that these guys touched is a scam. I mean, you guys don't even know the real definition of a scam or scammer, so let me just put this lightly. These guys were heavily involved in all of these launches here. These guys were also heavily involved in a lot of these launches here. And they did play a decent part in a lot of these launches here. So take that as you will. This is more about showing how involved these guys were. This is just a small piece of the puzzle too. I also have all of these projects, and I haven't even finished going through all of the people involved yet. There's still, that list of names is probably half of the real list. So I'm just trying to roll this out slowly. But if you don't think it's concerning that they were in the voice chats of all these coins early, they were buying in all these coins early, they were getting allocation on all these coins early. A lot of these coins had the same type of launches where the devs sniped. They followed their MO. That's very concerning stuff, guys. And a lot of the launches go the same. It's a rogue dev apparently. He dumps. Despite all of that, they were still supporting this rogue dev. They don't even know who he is apparently, and they're just pumping his coins over and over again. Any half-decent influencer will never pump a coin for a dev they don't know. They'll never do it right off launch at a low market cap. They will not take chances like that. They would launch their own, and they would flip it like they've done tons of times. So they were the dev. They dumped on you on the pump. Then they had these people come in, pretend they're there for the community. It's the same MO every time. They have a bunch of supply, they send it out to their influencers, and then if the community sticks and the community helps the reversal and they look strong, they'll give them a second chance. They'll throw a little bit of the profits that they farmed you on. They'll pretend they're there to push. They'll all get together. And if you guys don't become a strong community and form for these guys, they just give up on it, they sell, they move on. A lot of the projects on this list were just straight up pump and dumps, and they never recovered. They just gave up on you right away. And like I said, I mean, all these up here, these were very pump and dumpy too, but we'll get to those another time. So if the project does well though, and the community forms, I mean, yeah, they'll ride that clout. They'll help you push it a little bit, but they are so involved in so many projects, they don't have the time to be super dedicated devs in any of them. So they're just using and abusing you, and I just think it's very concerning that Gotbit, the Solana Foundation, OKX Wallet, BitGet, all of these things are working closely with them. They own a lot of them, and it's like they're trying to take control of the market, so only their projects get exposure, only their projects can do well, when most of their projects end up being super pump and dumpy. Most of their projects are farmy, and these guys are just pieces of shit. And here's some of the alts. So Ralph's is Casey Adams, Eric's is Chamber Wrecked, Belozy is Sugarnarium. If you want to check out the work they've done on their alts, not very good at hiding it. But yeah, that's it for now, guys. I mean, love to hear your comments, concerns, questions. Maybe add on to some of these. Like maybe there's been other projects they've done, or maybe you saw what I saw on certain projects and can add stuff in. So down below this video, I'll have the list of the projects. I'll have a list of the tweets from that Lost account who is showing Etherscan and SoulScan transactions on their launches and showing all the problems with them. And then later they got to him, they all promoted his project, and all of a sudden he shut up pretty quickly about that stuff. So interesting stuff in my opinion. A lot of weird stuff there. I mean, Solana Foundation is supporting these guys. The Pepe team is working with these guys. Ansem is feeding these guys early information and the same type of patterns. You know, they're overhyping these spaces. They're promising the world, and they're literally just moving on time and time again. They have like, look at this list of projects in the last year, and they've literally been heavily involved in so many of them. And that's very concerning to anyone who knows devs, to anyone who knows real scams. I mean, this is concerning stuff. So once again, it's more about, I hate to, you know, shit on some communities. I hate to tell the communities, yeah, your project's pretty scammy because most of the supply is owned by a bunch of douchebags. But that's just the reality of it. And it's more about the influencers and how many projects they're associated with. And they pretend that they're going to be in the trenches with you. They pretend that they're going to push it with you. But they can't because they're just too involved with launching new projects every day. And it's such bullshit. And I'm sorry it happens, but I mean, this information needs to get out to strengthen the thesis I've put out there. So appreciate you watching. I will drop the information on the spaces where we'll be doing the giveaway. To win the giveaway, you have to watch these 2 videos. And then I'll be calling up random contestants, and if you can answer a trivia question, you will win. It's all fair. It's all out there for you. So watch the video pinned on my Twitter. Watch this one, and show up to the giveaway spaces. I will announce it probably the day of or a day before. I'm thinking early next week is when it's gonna happen. So just keep your eyes peeled. Thank you for watching the video. Please do your part to spread this stuff out there. Appreciate you, and take care. Be safe out there.